Oh, speaking of people getting upset, I released a real talk, right, about that furry kid that got bashed in Adelaide. And I told a bunch of jokes about him, but if you watch the video, like I condemned the people that did it like fucking literally about 4 or 5 times in a 2-minute video. I call them animals. I call them cowards. I call them rats. Like, I condemn their actions horrifically, but I also make fun of just furries in general. I tell a few jokes about the whole thing. I got so many comments saying that, like, from people upset and saying that, like, I was condoning violence against furries, or like, oh, this is, I normally like your takes, but this one is no good. Like, brother, I've told jokes about Gaza and gotten less of a negative reaction than talking about one furry, telling a couple of jokes about a guy in a fucking, it's a little bit funny, a dude dressed up as a fucking animal getting attacked by a bunch of homophobic lads that are just morons. Like, it's a fucking ridiculous situation. It's bad, but fuck, if anyone can cop a joke, it's a guy who can get ninja fly kicked in the fucking head and stand up and put the mask on again, right? And what's so funny, all these people that got upset, you should delete this, blah, blah, blah. How could you, like, one comment that I got, right, that shit me up the fucking wall. This honestly isn't funny at all. And not only is it very much a hate crime, but also assault that you're justifying with jokes, right? That's the type of shit that I was getting. Meanwhile, the fucking furry kid himself, I'm talking to him in the DMs. He wants to do the podcast, right? He's commented on the video going, this is funny. If the guy that got bashed is like, this is funny, these jokes are funny and fun. Like, people that get offended on behalf of someone they do not know or on behalf of a community they are not a part of over fucking jokes that are not like a celebration of violence, that explicitly fucking condemn the people that do it, is insane. Jokes are not violence. I fucking hate this idea of, and it all started with this punching down bullshit. Like, you can't punch down, you can only punch up. My brother in Christ, jokes are not violent. There is no punching up. There is no punching down. Jokes are not punching. Equating humor with violence is, I think, one of the more damaging rhetorics around fucking humor that there is, right? If I tell a joke about a community that I'm not a part of, gay people, Indian people, Muslim people, women, I don't hate them. In fact, when I write a joke about something, anything, I've gone out of my way to try and understand that person, that interest, that activity, right? The best jokes that I write are things that I intimately understand, right? That's why a lot of my jokes are stories about things that I did, because I understand them, right? Most jokes that I make are about things or topics that I like because I understand them, right? When I make fun of Warhammer being an autistic hobby, it's because I'm fucking autistic and I engage with the hobby, and half the people that do it are retarded like me. I don't hate them. I love them. Jokes I love. Jokes are love, right? When I was in Sydney, just off the top of my head, I'm performing in a gay bar, right? There's a fucking trans lesbian couple in row 3. There was a Muslim guy with his girlfriend, row 1. I'm joking about Muslims. I'm joking about the trans people. I'm joking about the guy with cancer to his face about cancer. This is all in the same show, right? I'm joking about, who else was there? fuck. I can't even remember. But like all of these communities, Muslim, gay, trans, cancer victim, right? Indian people. There was a Sri Lankan guy there. I'm telling jokes about him. Like, I'm telling jokes about these people because I love them. They're part of my audience. And I am not punching them, right? I'm not punching down because I don't think that I'm better than them, right? Just because I'm a white guy. I don't think I'm better. I don't think that they're weak. I don't think that they're so fragile that they can't possibly weather jokes, because I don't think jokes are violence. I think they're love. Because when I joke about someone, it comes from a place of understanding. I'm telling you, bro, I can't write a joke if I don't understand someone. Right? And these people that come to these shows, I talk to them afterwards, right? I meet everyone that comes to my shows. In Sydney, I signed my first pair of trans titties after telling a bunch of jokes about trans people to the fucking trans people that were in the audience. And you know what I hear from these people? I hear, thank you for including me. That was fun. I don't hear, oh, I really liked the show until you talked about me and then I felt bullied and discriminated against and that you're a bigot. Because it comes from a place of understanding. And the reason why almost every single time, right, when people get offended about a joke that I tell, they're not from the group I'm talking about. And you know why they get offended and why they stand up to defend these people? More often than not, it's because they don't understand that group as well as I do. That they just hear a joke about a group they're not a part of and they assume that it's racist. They assume that it's bigoted because they don't know anything about that fucking group other than on this fucking scale of like straight white guy with money to poor brown disabled non-binary mentally fucked in their head depressed brown fool, right? They've ranked all of the races and ideologies on a fucking power scale, and they've gone, well, brown's down here and white's up there, so this is a harmful joke, even though they don't have any fucking friends from that group they're trying to defend. They don't understand anything from that group they're trying to defend, right? And that's why when I tell a joke about a furry and I tell a bunch of jokes about furries, the fucking guy that got bashed, that was the victim of that violence, goes, this was funny, and a stranger who's not involved, who is not part of that fucking group at all, goes, this is offensive and dangerous. Because they don't understand these people, because they look at them as less than what they are, and they assume that they're fragile. I'm sorry, but if a guy can fucking wear a dog collar and take a dick up his ass, I think he can handle a lot more than I can, all right? He can handle a fucking joke. Because jokes are not violence, it's love. If I'm joking about you, I love you. I've never in my life told a joke and used it as violence. That's not true. I told a lot of jokes about Prince Philip. We'll make an exception for that. But that's like one person and the actions that they've taken. That's not like, oh, group of people. You know what I mean? Do you see the difference? It's just always frustrated me that, like, for some reason, this idea that you can punch down or that you should only punch up became like widely accepted by even other comedians adopted this fucking rule that isn't a rule, that just hinders creative expression and the ability to write jokes at all. Right? They accepted this and then it became this fucking weird thing that people hold over the heads of comics. And it makes no sense because when you apply it to real life, right? A guy like Like, the more successful and rich and famous you become, now you can't joke about anyone other than you and what's going on in your own head, thus making you a shit comedian that's unrelatable. You have to joke about other people. And I would argue the way to actually bring about diversity and create a safe environment where everyone is welcome is to make fun of everyone. Because if I tell a joke about you, a belief that you hold, a racial group that you're part of, an ethnicity, a country, an interest, it's because I've gone out of my way to fucking look at it and notice something funny about it and appreciate it in my way, which is by telling a joke about it. But if I go, oh, what's your name, mate? And this guy goes, Muhammad. And I go, are you Muslim? And he goes, yes. And I go, oh, and I move on. What does that say about my view of Muslim people? That best case, that I think they're weak and fragile and too fucking scared or too damaged to be able to handle a joke about their culture. Worst case, it reads like I'm scared of them, like I think they're violent. Fuck that. I'm going to tell a joke about their religion, their culture, because I've gone out of my way to understand them, because I have Muslim friends, because I have brown mates, I have gay friends. You know, I think that all that stuff is so frustrating to me, because in my experience, and it's not 100% of the time. Sometimes I will tell a joke that's not funny, but that's what comedy is. But even when it's not funny, the intent is always, I want to make people laugh. I want to bring people into this. But almost every single time I've joked about a group or a type of person, the people that like it the most are that group or type of person. You know? I told jokes about this fucking furry kid getting bashed. The kid himself is in my DMs. We're trying to organize a podcast. Right? I've hooked him up with tickets to my show. You know, if I hated him, the jokes would have been mean. They wouldn't be jokes. I would be celebrating the fact that he got bashed. I certainly wouldn't be inviting him to my fucking show or speaking with him. I'd be like, ew, yuck, get away from me. You know, I tell jokes about furries because I love furries. I love everybody. And I don't think that just because you're Indian, you're weak and can't take a joke, or that the only people strong enough to handle a joke are big, strong, straight white men because they're better than everybody else. I think that's exclusionary and infantilizing. And it's not what my audience wants as well. Like, that's the number one thing that I hear, right? I remember in Perth, I don't even think they were fans. I don't think they even knew who I was. It was just Perth Fringe. One show in particular, the two front rows were full. It was like literally about 15 paramedics. And I did 20 minutes pounding paramedics for being lazy, for fucking pretending that they're doctors, you know, and they fucking loved it, right? Because, and what I could have done is I could have gone, oh, paramedics, you guys do such good work. You guys are amazing. They don't want to fucking hear that. They hear that shit every day, you know? Every single one of them probably watched 10 people die that week in their arms. They want to laugh about that. They don't want to be reminded how harrowing their job is. They would like to fucking laugh about the funny aspects of it. The same is true of race. The same is true of disabilities. The same is true of sickness. You know, I keep thinking about it. This guy that came to the show in Sydney with cancer, I fucking pounded the guy for ages. I'm going to post a clip of it. Afterwards, he comes up and he goes, thank you. Said something like, every time people hear about my thing, they get sad or they're shocked or they're scared or they don't know what to say. You made fun of me. that made me feel like everybody else. It's a welcome in, not a fuck you, go away. Jokes are not violence. I don't think there's anything like you can't punch with a joke. It's not violence. The jokes that I tell anyway, it frustrates me because it just makes me think that people have the complete wrong idea of what a comedian standing on stage is trying to do. That said, I do think there are such thing as racist jokes. And I do think that there are jokes that are just to make people feel like shit, because that's what a lot of, you look at school bullying. Often the best bullies make everybody else laugh, but not the person it's about. But I think that's the difference, is that every time I write a joke about a community that I'm not from or a person, which, if we're being real, is just about every single comedian's jokes are about people that are not them, right? There's, a good portion of every comedian is like, here's a thing that happened to me, or an idea that I had, or a dumb thing that I did. But every single one of those stories involve people that are not them, involve cultures that they're not from. And the vast majority of other jokes are about other people, right? So either you're going to throw away every single comedian and say that every person up there on stage is a bad person being mean to every single subject of a joke, or you got to kind of fucking acknowledge the reality that jokes are not violence. I don't know. It's really, you know what it is? Fuck. We're coming full circle here. I'm so upset about this because all of those people that got upset at the jokes about the furry were speaking on the furry kid's behalf. And that's exactly what I'm doing in the comment section of the Hawk Tour Chicks Instagram, is I'm speaking on behalf of other people and saying the wrong thing. And I'm doing that intentionally to upset other people. And here I am getting upset by other people talking on behalf of somebody else. My last point on this, and I think I'm going to write a Substack article about this, because it's really got me thinking, and I want to like put this in writing somehow, because I think I can say it. If I really think about it, I think I have a really clear point. And this is maybe a little bit muddy. I don't know if this is coming across what I think, but sometimes every time I tell a joke, right? Even if it's about a community, like, Asian women are not a uniform type of person with the same type of beliefs, right? I can tell a joke about Asian women that a lot of them will love and some of them will not. But as long as my intention is love and that I'm coming at it from a place of understanding, if some of them don't like it, but most of them do, I'm happy, right? But when people go, oh, you can't joke about this type of person because I think that they're weak and they can't handle it, the vast majority of the time, people from that group would fucking disagree because they're normal and they interact with people who are not them all the time. Have you ever noticed that? Most people that you talk to are not you. Most people you have a laugh with or interact with or work with are not you. They're from diverse backgrounds, right? When I do my show, I don't want to get up there and be creatively limited to only joking about straight, white, Australian, kind of on the spectrum males, right? People exactly like me. Because you know what's going to happen if I only do that? That's what my shows are going to look like. Because that's the only type of fucking humor that will be relatable. or that's the only group that will find what I'm talking about relatable, right? Like, that's the fucking irony of this shit, is if you tell comedians they can only joke about types of people whose backgrounds match theirs, all of a sudden their entire audience is just going to be fucking segregated by race, ethnicity, and religion, right? I don't want just people who look like me at my shows. Of course I want them to come, but I don't want that to be the only type of person that comes to the show. I want women, I want gay people, I want furries, I want Muslim people, I want Christians, I want Jews, I want Hindus, I want fucking everybody to come to the show and come together and laugh at everyone in the room in a loving way. Because when I tell a joke about you, it's because I love you. And it's my attempt at understanding you. It's never my intent to make someone feel like shit. So when people who aren't from, this is what I'm trying to, this is what it is, right? It's never my intention to make someone from a group feel like shit when I joke about them. And that's why it pisses me off so much when someone who is not from the group that I'm making fun of speaks on behalf of them and says that group of paraplegic Islamic people you're joking about would be very upset by this. That is wrong. Like, you're now twisting my intention and speaking for a group you're not a part of to create this false narrative that I hate them and want them to feel like shit. When really, a lot of the time, my jokes come from engaging with communities that I'm not a part of. Because I love them and I love people and I want to understand people and I want to bring them into this thing that we're building. And what we're building is a group of people that can laugh at themselves and the world and each other in a way that brings us all together. I love looking out in my audience and seeing people that don't look anything like each other next to each other, laughing at the other person. That's beautiful. That heals the world. I think, anyway, if I'm joking about you, it's because I love you.